Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Before I Go Wrong. And in this edition of Before I Go Wrong, I'll be doing Before I Go Wrong, well, UFC Fight Night, Song versus Simone. So let's get into it. But first off, this might be the very last Before I Go Wrong and where I was wrong. Not to say, oh, this is the end of the channel or anything like that. You know, some people are like, oh, he's on a 3 streak of 500 cards. Like, that's terrible. No, if you been around, it's ebbs and flows. Like, you're gonna have your ups and downs, and 500 ain't actually all that bad, especially considering you not falling below 500. Like, I haven't fell below 500 in months, like almost a year. I'm not gonna say a year, probably like 6 months. I haven't fell below 500. So a lot of people be going 2-8, 3-8. They be going up and down. They have a perfect card. They have 11 and 12, and also they be like one of this. I'm the most I've been. I barely ever fall below 500, and then I'll go back to having these 70 and 80% cards and stuff. So like 3 weeks of that, like terrible, not nothing to be proud about, but I'm going to bounce back. That's the one thing for sure. Like, I'm the most. Look at anyone across this whole thing out of all the decades. Well, I'm saying decades out of all the years, out of everyone. You can look from top to bottom. I'm literally the most consistent person as far as predictions. Period. Like, I'm never like taking these big, ugly, nasty dips in cards like that. I'll like say I have 500, but I bounce back every single time. So I'm going to bounce back. But yeah. But back to my point. Before I go wrong might drop. I mean, not drop. It might the name is just going to change. Is all I'm saying. The name is just going to change, and maybe where I'll place it. Maybe I'll make a bigger video, like a bigger pre-fight video, maybe a bigger post-fight video, and then I'll put that in there. And that's maybe down the line, maybe a couple months. I'm not promising something to make a month, but as far as right now, next weekend, the weeks to come, it'll probably just have a different name, like maybe pre-fight. You like say UFC Fight Night, blah blah blah, pre-fight. UFC blah blah post-fight, and I'll just kind of just or like pre-fight cap, post-fight cap or something. I'll just give my thoughts before the fight, my thoughts after the fight, and my predictions. Not my prediction, but my pre-predictions, and then I'll get my quick picks and then my full card picks, stuff like that. But full card pick video. So that's what I'm saying. That's what's like going to change in the next couple of cards. And then, like I said, as far as if I do a where I went wrong or before I go wrong, that might be in a bigger video down the line. And again, I'm not promising, oh, this going to be next week. It's going to be 2024. This might not, like I said, well, I might be talking too much, but I'm going to say I'm not promising nothing as far as that. But I definitely can assure you that I will still be doing before I go wrongs and where I went wrongs, but just under a different name. That's all I'm saying. It'll be under a different name, but the name for now is just going to change because that's just the direction where I'm going. Not to say like, oh my gosh, the naming is so bad. Some people like keep saying like, oh, the name make people assume that you're doing so terrible, and especially with the past couple weeks. But nah, I feel like I feel like people who get it get it. The people who watch the video get it. That's all. And even the people that come in and comment, they're like, oh, yeah, they get it. Even the people that like trying their hardest to hate, they get it. So, but it's more so just naming and the mentality and the correlations and all that stuff. Words have power, and you try to move in a different direction, or you trying to elevate just for now, or this is the direction I'm going. It's just all about that mentality. It's the mental, it's the wording, it's all that stuff. So my words and stuff, my titles gotta move in the direction that I'm going. So yeah, now I just wasted like 4 minutes of your time. Let's get to the pre-fight picks and not my official picks. And also I'm gonna say nothing with this picks. I'm really probably already finalized on my picks, but I'm gonna just throw some wild cards out in here. Or just throw some picks that aren't my final picks right now, because again, these aren't my final picks to begin with. But throw some picks out there that I'm actually already not on. So, you get a little bit of a different experience than you would. So it's not like I'll be the same picks like 20 times. And also I'll probably I'm gonna track these picks compared to my final picks. So that's another reason why I'm doing like some picks that aren't gonna be my final picks, obviously, or at least where my head is already at, is what I'm trying to say. Where my head is already at picks, and kind of where my picks head was at originally. Like right now, I feel like I'm already at my final picks, but I'm gonna give you some of my pre-final picks, even though my head has already moved beyond them. And I'm gonna kind of compare those picks, results wise compared to my final picks, after the fights happen. And then maybe I do that in my community section, saying, "Oh, how did my before I go wrong picks do against my final picks?" That's what I'm gonna do. And it's not gonna be an everyday, every week thing. This is probably just a one time or once an occasion thing. Right now, I'm like I said, you start having some dips, you start to try to adjust, you try to look at things, and different ways and just try to reevaluate and get back to a groove. That's all. It's just part of the game. So yeah, now my arm's getting tired, and yeah, let's get into it. So first pick we have, well, first fight we have Haley Cowan versus Jamie Lynn Horf, women's bantamweight division, and right now I'm going with Haley Cowan here to beat Jamie Lynn Horf. Haley Cowan is a truer 135er. She's actually younger than Jamie Lynn Horf. I feel like with Jamie Lynn Horf, she's undefeated. She seems like the better grappler, but she's a 125er. And she's just coming up with this fight on short notice. So she's taking this fight on short notice, coming up a weight. She really got zero tape out on her. And I guess the biggest thing they can say about her is she beat what's the name? Lupita Godinez twice in the amateur. So that's her biggest selling point. You beat someone in the amateur. Not even in the pros, not last year, not 2 years ago, like a couple years ago, like what, 2018 or something. I forget when she beat her. And she beat her twice. But I guess she seems like she's the more technical, better grappler. But all of this is speculation. She don't barely even got nothing on herself training on her own Instagram. So like you can't find no fights of her, you can't find no Instagram of her. But seemingly she's the favorite. So like kind of weird. So right now I'm going Haley Cowan with low comps. But my issue with Haley Cowan is the fact that she did get control in large portions of her last fight or her contender series fight. I think second round she got held down for like 3-4 minutes. Then in the final round, I think she was doing good. She got reversed and she spent like 2 minutes on bottom. And then she just narrowly won a split decision over her opponent. But again, a bigger opponent, a bigger actual bantamweight. Maybe not skill, maybe not as technical, but a bigger actual bantamweight versus a 125er who's coming on short notice. And really ain't got no tape on her. So Cowan got more tape on her. She's younger, etc., etc. She's the actual 135er. So right now I'm leaning Haley Cowan. Again, this ain't no final full, oh my, here's my method, here's my pick, here's this. Nothing is truly finalized with this video. This video does not finalize anything. So ain't gonna be no method. I'm saying she's gonna submit her. She's gonna knock her out. Nah, I ain't doing all that. I might if I want to, but that's not the point of this video. It's like the rough draft. That's the point of this video. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, we have Brian Kelleher versus Journey Newson. And as of right now, I'm going Journey Newson here to beat Brian Kelleher. I think kind of a little bit of a momentum pick. I don't think Journey Newson's all that great, but I do think he's catching Brian Kelleher had a good time. I feel like he has a good stylist matchup for Brian Kelleher. I feel like he does have pretty decent takedown defense. He has recently got a black belt like what 2 years ago now. You know, during his absence, he's coming back. It's not like Brian Kelleher is the greatest striker. So I feel like it'd be a case where Newsom might have a little bit more power, maybe just have a little bit more power, and not riding the worst steam is Kelleher is right now. So like he might be able to land the heavier shots, might be able to handle the grapple situation, maybe might even be able to tap out or hurt Kelleher. We don't know. But this might be a fight where he can show where his BJJ is at in this one. And also, Kelleher has been getting tapped out a lot in his fights. And his BJJ is supposed to be one of his better tools or one of his strengths. And he's been getting tapped out. So obviously against better competition. But I think it's a case where you could see Newsom pulling off upset here or a small upset here. So I'm going Newsom in there. Next fight we have in the women's bantamweight division, Stephanie Egger versus Irina Alekseeva. And how I see this one right here between Stephanie Egger versus Irina Alekseeva is, women's bantamweight is. I'm going Stephanie Egger, and this is probably a final pick right here. Irina Alekseeva, she's a pretty tall women's bantamweight. Like, she's pretty tall. It seems like she comes with pretty good intensity, but I feel like intensity against a judoka is kind of it's a style matchup. It favors the judoka. They want somebody coming there swinging arms. And I feel like a lot of times she does swing in and she ends up in the clinch, right in a position to get hip tossed. Like she literally ends up in a position to get hip tossed, by a judoka. Like she in there, she swarms, do a lot of wild shots, very aggressive. You can easily end up getting hip tossed. Then on the bottom of a world-class judoka, end up getting her arm snapped up and tapped out. So yeah, that's a final pick right there. I'm not gonna say the round just yet, but I'm gonna say submission for Stephanie Egger. And that's where my pick probably gonna lie. The round will change, but the method and the winner, Stephanie Egger submission, that's set in stone. And that's what I'll give you right now. It is set in stone. Next fight, we have Cody Durden versus Charles Johnson in the flyweight division. And right now, I got Cody Durden to beat Charles Johnson. I don't see why Durden's I guess you can see why he's the dog, but it is a close odds. Ain't like they boosting Charles Johnson up to -200 or nothing. It's pretty fair odds, but I feel like Durden should be the favorite, given the fact that Johnson has lost rest match. He just lost to Odi Osborne, who's not necessarily the greatest wrestler grappler in the division, and I feel like he's pretty much got out wrestled by a big component of why he lost that fight in a close fight, which it was due to wrestling and getting out wrestled by Odi Osborne. We've seen him get wrestled up by what's the name? Mokaev. Well, obviously Mokaev's on a different level. He beat Durden pretty easily, but nonetheless, Cody Durden's strike is coming along. His wrestling coming along. And I don't feel like Charles Johnson's wrestling necessarily coming along. It's not like not like he's a consistent power puncher either. So I feel like it's gonna be a case where he's gonna need, but it could easily be a case where he does eke out a decision or maybe get a late stoppage, like he gets taken down, gets controlled, he lands his clean shots on the feet, maybe hurts Durden a couple times. Then later in the third round, Durden's tired and Johnson's able to put him away, maybe something like that. Or maybe it's a case where Johnson's able to get, when he's close, ugly round where he's down on the ground like 2 minutes of the round, and like half the round he's on the ground, but on the feet, when he's on the feet, he's landing a little bit cleaner. Then the third round he rallies and maybe gets a 10-8, or maybe he just clearly wins that round. All of a sudden he wins a split decision. It can easily be that. It's just one of those fights where it can easily be this, easily be that. But I'm liking the improvements I'm seeing in Durden's wrestling more. I mean, in his striking, and I'm liking the grappling improvements for Johnson. I think he's looking a lot more comfortable in grappling, but I still see he's giving too much time on his back. He's too much time getting taken down, and Durden will look to take him down. I feel like Durden's cardio will have improved. I'm not saying like with no great confidence, oh, Durden's gonna come in here in such phenomenal shape, such phenomenal cardio. I feel like he is a guy that has a tendency to fade, but also feel like Johnson's not a guy that has a tendency to finish people. And also in general, Johnson is just a guy that seemingly ends up in a lot of close decisions. So I'm going with Cody Durden here, and this pick likely not going to change. I'm going with Cody Durden, especially as a dog here. He's like almost like like a dog or pass fight, a true dog or pass fight. It's not a dog or pass fight where this guy isn't all that good. This guy's a scrub, but he's not that good. So I mean, it's like a close fight that could truly go either way, dog or pass. And this guy seemingly has the tools to beat him. It's not a little, these dog chasing morons type of dog or pass. It's not those guys. Then we going 2 or 10. Well, how many dogs did you get? How many dogs did you get? I won 2 of 400, but I picked 2 dogs. Like, nah, it's not that stupid mentality. Yeah. Go ahead and Cody Durden right now. That's likely a decision. All right. Yeah. The next one we have Martin Buday versus Jake Collier, heavyweight division. And going Martin Buday here. I feel like he has a good style for the low level, low tier, mid tier of the heavyweight division. Jake Collier would never be a true heavyweight. He could weigh heavyweight, he could eat like a heavyweight, he could have a belly like a heavyweight, whatnot. But he truly is a middleweight, light heavyweight. That this guy fat. That's all he is. He got some skills from a lower weight class, but again, he just a smaller guy, carry around a lot of weight. And I feel like Buday has a good style to deal with smaller guys. Like he go in there, try to hold him against the cage. I feel like he lost last fight, got gifted with a win in that one. But yeah, got gifted. But I think he should be able to beat Jake Collier. I feel like he should be able to blanket him and, win a pretty ugly, boring decision. Just trying to clinch him and hold him against the cage and just wear on him against there and like grappling. I feel like he should be able to hold his own with Jake Collier as far as defending the takedown and not ending up on bottom and stuff like that. And then to the most part, just be able to be the bigger fighter and use that size to wall and stall Collier mostly to a decision. Like keep the strikes low, wall and stall heavy, get that cage control from just like, or that control time from holding him against the cage. Maybe throw some pot shots from in there and beating Collier to a decision. So I have to give a full prediction right there. And that prediction was so full, it's probably going to be my final prediction. So you got another final prediction there. The next one we got in the welterweight division, Josh Quinlan versus Trey Walters, or I said Walters. Josh Quinlan versus Trey Waters, welterweight division. Trey Waters making a very quick turnaround, like he fought just yesterday. Now he's bouncing back, taking that quick turnaround to get a UFC opportunity. Yeah, so going Trey Waters here right now. They're obviously gonna be like low confidence, but I don't like his defense, but I do like his length. I do like his creativity. I do like his athleticism. I do like his offensive technique. He could do a little bit better to not drop his hands as much. He can be a little bit sharper on defense. But I think it's mostly going to be a strikers matchup. And I think Trey Waters, I do like his length. And I do like, his offense. At least from the, the damaging outpoint. Like the damaging. Not as far as, returning on defense and, his offense, blending with his defense. Like I said, it's always going to be his defense where his weakest area. But yeah, I don't feel like Quinlan has really accomplished much. He beat a bum in his fight, and he beat a glass chin wrestler. So it's not gonna be a case where Trey Ward is gonna be trying to take him down. He's not going there with glass chin wrestler where he just had to defend him and find the chin. He's going there with a striker, and I don't see Quinlan as this guy that's gonna look to take him down. So I see this as a striking matchup mostly, and I don't see Quinlan having great success being a wrestler in this one. So I just see it's gonna be another fight. I think it's gonna be a stylistic matchup where Trey Ward is gonna be the longer, taller fighter, and I feel like he'll be able to use that reach against Quinlan. And possibly get a stop, but possibly a decision. But right now, I'm going Trey Waters, low confidence to beat Josh Quinlan. Again, it's a strikers matchup. I like his length, and I like his offense. But again, that's why it's low confidence. I don't fully like him, and this is a tight matchup, and that's why again low confidence. Now to our next fight we have in the heavyweight division, Marcos Rogerio de Lima versus Waldo Cortez Acosta, and I'm going Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Like what's his name? Waldo Cortez Acosta. He has struggled in his two fights against mediocre heavyweights with Chase Sherman, the most notably, then Jared Vanderer before that. So and he took both of them to decision. Now I feel like his path to victory kind of relies on I don't know, it don't really rely on anything. But it don't really rely on anything. But I feel like he's a one-dimensional boxer who was barely even that. And that's like his background. Barely even a boxer. And I seen like he didn't really check legs. I feel like I guess what you could kind of point to is maybe a path to victory for Waldo Cortez Acosta. Or he is the more traditional boxer. That's the thing. He has actual boxing experience. We give him that. It seemed like he could push a pace better than, or at least historically, than Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Yes, but one thing for sure is that Waldo Cortez Acosta isn't no real great grappler or anything, or hasn't really shown any real notable grappling skills against nobody that's of note, like some scrubs maybe, but of nobody of note hasn't shown any good wrestling against them, or hasn't really shown any real good jiu-jitsu against them. So Marcos Rogerio de Lima should have the power. He should have the better kicks by far, better jiu-jitsu, far better experience. And Waldo Cortez Acosta coming here, really coming off a split decision over Chase Sherman. I think it was a unanimous decision. Don't quote me on that. But it should have been a split decision, to be honest, over Chase Sherman. And I feel like maybe his biggest case where he can hope to come through on is maybe Marcos Rogerio de Lima getting tired and him coming on later, or maybe eking out a split decision. And you maybe say, oh, knockout, but who has he knocked out? He has went to decision twice over people that it's not like it's been the hardest people to be knock out. Like Chase Sherman has been knocked out plenty of times. So you that great a boss, you should knock Chase Sherman out. Jared Vanderer, I think he's been stopped a couple times, but obviously not as much as Chase Sherman. But you're supposed to be this phenomenal boss, you should have knocked out Jared Vanderer as well. But yeah, so he hasn't shown to be no real knockout ability in the UFC at this level yet. And now he's taking a huge step up in competition. And you talk about the cardio, but one thing about Marco, I'm starting to get to that point where I'm talking so fast and my words are doing jumping jacks or the jump rope. But yeah, as of late, Marcos Rogerio de Lima has been showing the ability to push through and show good cardio, and that's why he showed improved focus, being able to find the right shots and not just swing wildly. And he was able to get submission over a veteran Andre Arlovski, even though he's like 50 years old. That's still impressive. The fact that he fought a clean composed fight and then to just go for eye smash, like he didn't go for hawk smash. Like it was cleanly set up. He heard him. Then he cleanly used his brain and found a clean way to get the finish. Like he didn't need to like this. I had to smash everything. My submission there. I'm gonna take it. I get it. So showing evolution. And even in one of his losses, I think he lost to that guy who beat Fedor like 400 times. Like not beat Fedor like once or twice in Sambo. I forget the name right now. But yeah, for him, and it was a fight where he lost. But I feel like I picked the dude who beat him, and I was good to win. But I feel like actually Rogerio de Lima won. He not expect his cardio to fade off, but it was actually him getting the takedown in the later rounds and looking strong in the later rounds. So even though he didn't look like no phenomenal cardio machine, it showed that he can battle through fatigue and do the things in the crucial rounds. Yes, the judges didn't favor him in that particular instance, but later on in your career or later on in fights, that might not come through for you in that fight. But the fact that you were able to do that in a loss or any fight, you'll be able to do that in other fights. And then later on, the judges will favor you, or maybe you'll be able to get finishes, or do what you need to do, whether it be get a decision, win the round in future fights. And even though it was a loss, it was a feather in his cap, and I feel like that elevated him. We're seeing a better and better Rogerio Lima, so he's in a better spot. We're looking at the best Rogerio Lima, and you go in there with this guy Waldo Cortez Acosta, this would-be boxer, mediocre boxer, who just really got hands, no kicks, no jiu-jitsu, no wrestling. And I feel like I'm gonna say Rogerio Lima. I don't know if he's gonna submit him. I don't know if he's gonna take him down. I don't know which approach he's gonna take, but he has multiple approaches. Whereas Costa kind of like, maybe I'm gonna knock you out, but I haven't knocked no one out at this level, or maybe I'm gonna extend you and beat you by decision. That's really all his path. Whereas Rogerio Lima might surprise you, might outbox him, he might knock him out, he might submit him, he might go wrestling approach, he might go lay and pray. But he has more avenues to win, and he's in a better spot, and he's been getting better. And Waldo Cortez Acosta so far has not impressed. So Going Rogerio de Lima, I'm probably gonna go about average confidence. I'm not gonna go no higher on this confidence because again, well, I haven't said this. Rogerio de Lima, it's not like he's been the most consistent fighter, but the fact that, the fact that he's been showing improvement and he's starting to build up consistency, that's enough leading to Rogerio Lima about average confidence. But that might shift to high. Like it seems like he deserves high confidence here, but that might shift. But right now I'm gonna say average confidence. But that might shift to high confidence. My final picks. Because again, these are not my final picks. I'm gonna say again, these are not my final picks. Yeah. So next fight we have in the featherweight division, Julian Erosa versus Fernando Padilla. If his name wrong, it's wrong, but I'll fix it in the future, I guess. But Julian Erosa versus Fernando Padilla, featherweight division. Go on Julian Erosa about average confidence. Erosa, like he has, he's been an up and down fighter his whole career, his whole life. But yeah, up and down, and that's why this is not high or lock. Fernando Padilla, he's for a pretty low level competition to be honest. Now that he hasn't fought in like 2 years, so we don't know what he's gonna look like. He might come in and look like some future potential talent. But yeah, look like some future potential talent. But so far he hasn't did anything to show that he's this talent. He's not no big. And as far as against Julian Erosa, and also Julian Erosa was looking the best he's ever looked until he got caught by Alex Caceres, who's a wild card. Alex Caceres has been around the game a long time, and just like Julian Erosa, he's a wild card. Both guys are wild card. 2 wild cards fought, and 1 wild card won. But Julian Erosa was looking the best he ever looked in his whole career in that 3-fight winning streak till he lost to Alex Caceres. So it's not like he was just looking like skidding up and down, up and down, up and down. He was looking good. He got caught and got finished. But and also when you look at connecting that, Julian Erosa, when he typically loses, it has been result of getting caught on the chin, like lack of defense or lack of chin. And Padilla, to this point, has not shown really any real knockout power. It has not fought no good competition. Has not knocked out no good competition. He's been more like a volume puncher, with a 10 planted jiu-jitsu guy. So maybe on the ground he could tap you out or something. But I feel like Julian Rosa's grappling is solid enough to deal with anything he got to deal with on grappling. It's more so about if he gets caught, then maybe he gets tapped out. Or maybe, yeah. It kind of all relies on him getting his chin touched. And like I said, this guy will bring him. They both scrappy, and when you both scrappy, stuff can happen. But to this point, I feel like Padilla don't really truly belong to be in UFC. Maybe he did something outside his camp. Maybe he was training, and maybe Dana White, maybe somebody walked in and saw him like, oh, this guy's been looking so good. And during this time away, he has improved significantly. He don't even look like the guy that was fighting those couple years ago. But all we can judge is based off what we've seen. I'm not in this camp. I don't got no mold in this camp. So this one likely sticking. I'm sticking with Julian Rose, probably average confidence. I don't think I'm shifting to high. Definitely not shifting to lock. Might shift from between average and low, but gotta go with Rose here. Padilla's not showing the stuff that has not showing the ability to take the path that had beaten Julian Rosa. All he kind of is hoping maybe a split decision, like scrappy fight where he ekes out a decision over Julian Rosa, or some rare chance he knocks him out, or maybe in that scrap he catches him with a perfect shot or something. Or something, again, the scrappy fight stuff happens, but I feel like Julian Rosa could win the more technical fight, he could win the scrappy fight, he could win every single fight. And Padilla, like, who has he fought? Who has he beat? What skills have he shown? Like, yeah, the guy hasn't really shown me nothing. Like, I like his head, like his mentality of the kid, but he hasn't shown me nothing. It's like, and he's getting a big step up or catching, yeah. All in all, he ain't shown me nothing. And Julian Rosa, like, we're going to somehow just shift away from just because this young kid who ain't done nothing, talk a lot but haven't done nothing, hasn't shown nothing really, and don't really seemingly have the path, necessarily tools, has not necessarily shown the tools to beat this guy just because he come off a one fight where he went in there with a wild guy like Caceres or like another guy who's like up and down, like a guy who rides the waves like Caceres is so unorthodox. And also who happened to beat the guy who knocked one of the guys who knocked out Rosa as well. So Caceres is definitely good to upset you. Some people like upset Sergio Pettis, upset whatever the dude name was, the Korean dude I think, upset Rosa. I think he upset a couple other people. So yeah, and then had that wild chance where he went on to have a very fight of night competitive fight with Yair Rodriguez at some point. So the guy like Caceres is Caceres also has fought a lot of good guys as well. So it's not like Caceres is this young guy that came out of nowhere with like a 7-4 record, and most of the guys he fought was like 0-3. Like Caceres has been around and showed a lot of stuff, and he's a talent, but just like a Rosa, two talents that lack that extra edge to get over, and just seem to lack consistency. So yeah, I talked a lot about that pick, but yeah, next fight we have in the middleweight division, Rodolfo Vieira versus Cody Brundage. I'm going about average comp. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go low comp as Rodolfo Vieira. I don't know why the odds are where they are. This should be a pick 'em at best. Rodolfo Vieira is a highly touted BJJ guy, highly accomplished world champion BJJ guy, but he still hasn't really shown to be no full mixed martial artist. And Cody Brodus is like this wrestler, like he ain't no big wrestler of note, but solid enough wrestling skills, solid enough. And he's very young. It could prove. So like, could he potentially outwork Vieira? Definitely very much possible. Could he potentially knock out Vieira? Very much possible. But both guys with grappling backgrounds, I guess you're gonna lean to the guy who has the crazy legendary grappling background in Rodolfo Vieira over this would-be young wrestler, developing fighter. But yeah, I gotta go Rodolfo Vieira. Well, I don't gotta go Rodolfo Vieira. This pick is subject to change, especially if the odds get stupid on this one. Like, yeah, throw some money on Cody Brundage, but gotta go Rodolfo Vieira. For the same reason maybe other people lean to him, but it's not for no. Oh my God, Rodolfo Vieira is the most amazing BJJ guy in all of MMA history, and Cody Brundage is this scrub. The gap between these two really ain't all that big, or at least for what we have seen in MMA. In a BJJ tournament, yeah, obviously MMA, pick them. That's what it should really be. It should be pick them. It should be like 110, 105, minus 110, 105. That's really what it should be at, and it should be teetering, like jumping back and forth. But it's not. So I don't think I would put any coin on this one at all. Maybe let's finish it like plus 900, plus 1,000 or something, and people expecting this to go to decision or something. Or maybe people expecting not to go decision, then maybe plus 1,000 on that. But yeah, this trash fight to be honest. But I guess it'll show where they at. It'll be a good intel fight. That's what I would say. It'll be a good intel fight. But yeah, judging based off not a whole lot, and none of these guys really impressing me. Rodolfo Vieira is that BJJ world champion, and if he could get on the ground, I feel like he can have success and maybe just work him. And he has shown a pretty good chin. So sturdy chin. Took Chris Curtis punches. Was rocked and tired, and took Alex Hernandez's shots as well. I hope his name is Alex Hernandez because I'm not competing with the lightweight. They both got Hernandez. But anyway, his name was Hernandez. I hope his name's Hernandez. Well, hope yeah, because his name be jumping in my head a little bit. I be off a name, off a last name, but he has shown a good sturdy chin. Has shown sturdy power. Need these guys that are all that technical on the feet. Both guys are primarily grapplers that have transitioned to MMA. One from wrestling, one from a phenomenal BJJ background. So I'm going with Rodolfo Vieira. I don't know if we're going to finish. No, I'm going decision. Not going to split. But I'm going with Rodolfo Vieira because he does. It's going to be a fight where maybe the striking does cancel out, and you're going to need the guy with the better background. And also, he has for better competition. He has for high level competition than Brundage has as well. So going Vieira there. I'm gonna say low confidence. Low confidence Rodolfo Vieira. Next fight we have in the middleweight division: Kyle Barallo versus Mikhail Alexichuk, and I'm going Kyle Barallo to beat Mikhail Alexichuk. I'm gonna go high confidence. Might shift a lot, but I'm gonna go high confidence right now. Probably submission over Mikhail Alexichuk. Mikhail Alexichuk has always had issues with his wrestling defense. No, it hasn't really shown improvement in his grappling, but he has shown the ability to, improve his takedown defense and ability to get up. But as far as grappling, it's still like the floor is lava for him, especially against guys talented as Kyle Barallo. But my issue with Kyle Barallo, what makes it not lock, is the fact that he seemingly fades every single fight. He does come a bit predictable, but this is a fight he should win. He's still a breakout talent in the middleweight division, but I seem like it's almost a ticker for him to get fried checked. I feel like from what he's showing, he's not showing a guy that's going to go up there and be a title challenger is right now. He has to kind of reverse that narrative, at least in my mind. I know a lot of people are still saying this guy's going to be great. He's going to be this, he be that, but I feel like the last couple performances have been a little bit disappointing. Like a lot of bit disappointing to me. Like winning, but a lot of bit disappointing from what his perspective talent level was looking at. So I feel like he's looking to likely be fried checked. Not in this one, but when he maybe elevates and fights another guy, maybe fights like what's his name, Joe Pyfer or something. Maybe Joe Pyfer could fried check him or something, like knock him out, stuff his takedowns and knock him out or something. Or yeah, maybe a guy like that. I'm not saying he will. That's my prediction for no future fights, but I feel like a guy at that level, of that talent, who's showing to be that talent, still could potentially knock him out. Maybe even end up losing to Gerald Machart. Like I said, that's where he's looking like the guy he just beat Magmamurdov. Like he's looking like he's keen to be fraud checked by either a real savvy veteran or just another young talent coming up. But going against Mikhail Alexichuk, I feel like he does have the stylistic matchup, and I feel like he should be a good submission, maybe first or second in this one. So yeah, I'm not gonna talk too much about that, but if he definitely get tired, Alexichuk could just chew him up, real bad. Like so, he wouldn't have cardio point, but only gonna be if I feel like he gets Alexichuk down I feel like he should be to hold him down pretty comfortable. Like, he gets him down secure. It's not gonna be Casey going over this guy with such a solid BJJ game as well, underrated BJJ game, well, and recover guard and start to hit sweeps and reversals and really make him out to work. I feel like he can really rest on top of Mikael Alexichuk once he gets down. It'd be kind of hard and struggle to get him down unless he does perfect timing and perfectly sets up the takedown and just has the perfect approach to study him down to a T. But hold him down, that's gonna be easy. Getting him down will be hard, but hold him down will be pretty easily, I feel, for Kyle Barroso. He shouldn't really wear himself down too much. I feel like he should be able to get takedown and should be able to hold him down for 3 rounds. Once he gets the takedown, then later on, second, third, the takedown should come easier if it is the decision route. But I think he gets him out of there within the first 2 rounds. So yeah, Kyle Barroso right now. I mean, that ain't shifting. The method might be decision, might be submission, might be first, might be second, third, whatever the case. But Kyle Barroso, that pick is locked in. Is it a locked pick? No. But is it locked in? Am I shifting to between the two? I'm not shifting between the two. The pick will be Kyle Barroso, without a doubt. That ain't changing. The sun, as sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, I will pick Kyle Barroso. Is my final pick of this one. And all of a sudden he get his leg chopped off. He's like, I'm still gonna fight, and he get knocked out. But yeah, crazy circumstances like that. Maybe that will shift. But barring the insanely weird and wild and like this unexpected, that pick ain't changing. Yeah, now to the main event. I already predict this fight. I'm gonna predict it again, and I'm again and again because yeah, it gets scheduled again. Song Yadong versus Ricky Simone, but the fact that I have already predicted this, I'm gonna make it very short. I'm going Ricky Simone to beat Yang. I say it's Yang. I'm going Ricky Simone to beat Song Yadong, bantamweight division. So 5 rounds make it a little bit more harder than the 3 rounds, but I still think Ricky Simone should be a win here. I've seen Song Yadong struggle in the grappling departments too many times to lean to him. If I saw Simone was a guy who could barely get a takedown, had terrible cardio, hadn't shown any improvement, I'm like, oh yes, Song Yadong. But the fact that Ricky Simone I feel is better than Cody Stamann in every department, better striker, better wrestler. Only I think Cody Stamann has on his chin. And I'm always gonna bring this fight every single time I try and go a grappling approach to beat Song Yadong because I saw Cody Stamann live destroy him and get robbed of a decision with the split decision. Like literally took him down, and Song Yadong could not do nothing. Was on bottom, was getting pounded on. And not even in the Corey Sandhagen fight. Sandhagen held him down for like half a round. And Sandhagen's not the most greatest grappler. I haven't really seen Sandhagen hold anyone down. Not saying his grappling isn't good, but I haven't seen him as that guy that's going to take you down, hold you down for rounds, or hold you down for minutes. And he did it against Song Yadong. That was his last fight of Song Yadong's. What if I think someone else held him down? I think Montevera took him down like twice. So, and it's not like also like Song Yadong has really fought too many wrestlers. Like the few people that have took him down have had great success. Also, Kyler Phillips took him down. Just picking him apart on the feet. He had nothing, no answer to Kyler Phillips. I don't say he got as embarrassed out of it, but he got clearly lost that fight. It wasn't that competitive that like, oh my gosh, who won? Like you knew who was winning every single minute of that fight. But yeah, he was winning every minute of that fight. Kyler Phillips was. So I'm expecting Simone to be the more rounded fight. I don't think he can go out there and try to trade leather with Song Yadong too much. I feel like he can hold his own with it, but I think he's gonna know that I gotta mix this up because this kid has a lot of power, a lot of steam, and I don't want to play with that too much. I don't want to play with fire too much, and he has the ability to mix it up. He's showing looking incredibly, not incredibly strong, but he's looking much stronger. Like his strength and conditions come along well. His chain wrestling looking a lot better. His jiu-jitsu looking a lot better. So Simone was looking better and better every fight. Whereas Song Yadong, he looking okay, looking good, like looking strong improved, but I'm not really saying nothing really that much more improved out of Song Yadong than his striking. I'm not saying, oh, he started mixing takedowns. I'm not saying such phenomenal takedowns, defense or nothing. But yeah. So I feel like Simone's the more well-rounded guy. And I feel like he's the best grappler that Song Yadong has ever fought. The best overall package as far as grappling included he has ever fought. As far as a heavily grappling focus. And I think he will look to exploit that area again. And so far, I feel like, to me, Song Yadong has not yet surpassed the test. This is a test. If he wins, he'll pass it. Especially if he goes through some adversity in this one, or maybe goes some rounds and then you see him stuffing takedowns, maybe reverse the position, start to see something there. Or like a first round knockout probably ain't gonna really address it too much, but hey, you'll have beating the guy who's that. But maybe extended some rounds and then dealing with that and overcoming that, definitely will have answered that, addressed that test, or passed that test. But nonetheless, he hasn't passed that test yet for me, and I think Simone's gonna bring the very best of that test to him. Like Simone should be able to get takedowns on him, and I feel like on top he should be able to get position, just really start to work on Song Yadong, and just really wear on him over the course of the fight. And I see probably like a 3rd, 4th round submission. But again, nothing finalized. It might be a decision, might be this, but go on Simone, about average confidence to beat Song Yadong. And that's my picks, my pre-picks, my rough draft picks. and I'll go more into it on the individual videos or my full card video. I feel like I already talked probably more than usual on this video. I spent like the first 10 minutes talking about other stuff, but yeah, that's the video. Yeah, so that's my picks for UFC Fight Night, Song versus Simone, and yeah, let's kill this card and kill these next couple cards and get back on the groove. And that's the video. Peace.